Most men give up too soon. They think they've lost the battle before the war has even started. She's pulling away, acting distant, not responding the way she used to, and you feel like it's over. But what if I told you this is actually your biggest opportunity? What if instead of walking away defeated, you could turn everything in your favor without chasing, begging, or losing your self-respect? Most men never understand this. They act too soon, too desperate, and too emotional. And that's exactly what ruins everything. So, before you give up, watch this video. If you apply what I'm about to tell you, you'll be in a position most men never reach. Let's get into it. 1. Why she's pulling away in the first place. Most men panic when a woman becomes distant. They assume she's lost interest, found someone else, or simply doesn't care anymore. But the reality is much deeper. Women don't just wake up one day and stop feeling something. It happens gradually, in stages. Here's what happens. She stops feeling the chase. When she first met you, there was mystery, excitement, and challenge. Now, she knows exactly how you feel, and it's predictable. She tests your emotional control. Women subconsciously want to see how you handle emotional shifts. Do you panic, overreact, or remain unshaken? She needs space to feel something again. Attraction isn't built on words. It's built on distance, tension, and emotions. When everything is always available, it loses value. This is where most men fail. Instead of pulling back when she does, they push harder, texting more, calling more, trying harder. And that's when attraction dies. Because now, she doesn't have to work for your attention anymore. If she doesn't have to work for it, she won't value it. 2. The silent test you didn't even notice. Here's something most men miss entirely. When a woman pulls away, it's often a subconscious test. She doesn't always plan it, but her instincts are watching. She's wondering, is he emotionally strong enough to handle this? Will he chase me? Or will he hold his ground? Does he truly have options? Or is he just pretending? Most men fail instantly. She ignores them, and they text again. She takes longer to respond, and they ask if everything's okay. She cancels plans, and they try to reschedule immediately. Every single one of these reactions proves to her that she's in full control. But the men who win this test, the ones who truly stand out, do something different. They don't react emotionally. They don't chase. They don't beg for answers. They simply hold their position. And that's when she starts to feel something unexpected. Regret. 3. The power of controlled distance. Here's what most men don't realize. Women don't fall in love with presence. They fall in love with absence. The less you give away freely, the more she values what she gets. Think about it. When something is always available, you stop noticing it. But when something disappears, you start craving it. That's why pulling back at the right time is the most powerful move you can make. Instead of texting her first, wait. Instead of liking her posts, ignore them. Instead of adjusting your schedule for her, prioritize yourself. When you stop being predictable, stop being too easy to reach, and stop reacting instantly, everything changes. She starts noticing your absence, and that's when she starts wondering, why isn't he reacting? Did he lose interest? Is he seeing someone else? The moment you stop giving freely, she starts missing you. 4. What to do instead of chasing. Most men try to fix a situation like this. They think, maybe if I explain myself, if I show her how much I care, she'll come back. But attraction doesn't work like that. Instead of trying to win her back with words, do this. Match her energy. If she's distant, don't overcompensate. Pull back and stay neutral. If she reaches out, respond, but don't overinvest. Don't act like her message is the best thing that's happened to you. Let her work for it. If she disappeared, she needs to prove she's serious about coming back. Take back control of the pace. Don't fall into old patterns. Let her feel the distance before giving her too much attention again. If you do this, she'll respect you more, because now she knows she can't take you for granted. 5. If she never comes back, read this. Here's the truth you need to accept. Not every woman will come back, and that's okay. If she pulls away and never returns, she just saved you from wasting more time on the wrong person. You don't want a woman who stays only when you chase her. You want a woman who chooses to stay because she values you. 6. The power of silence. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. Most guys think they need to argue, explain themselves, or fight for her attention when she starts pulling away. But the truth is, silence speaks louder than words ever could. It creates mystery, uncertainty, and a shift in emotional power. At first, she might not even notice. She assumes you'll be back, that you'll check in, send a text, or try to fix things. But then days pass, then weeks, and suddenly, she realizes something is different. That's when everything starts shifting in her mind. Because now, you're no longer predictable. You're no longer the guy who always checks in or waits. Instead, you've disappeared from her world, and that creates a void she wasn't expecting. 7. The ultimate mindset shift. Here's what you need to understand. You never want to be the man who is always available, always chasing. Instead, focus on your own life and priorities. When you give her space, when you allow her to miss you, you become more valuable in her eyes. You become someone she has to work for, and that's what creates lasting attraction. You don't win by chasing a woman. You win by becoming the kind of man who never has to chase. You win by having standards, valuing your time, and making her prove she deserves your energy. That's when everything changes, because now you're in control, not through manipulation or games, but through self-respect. And that is what separates the men who get played from the men women can't forget. 8. Why women underestimate you until you go silent? Most women assume that men will always be available. They assume that no matter what they do, no matter how much they pull away, you'll still be there, waiting. And why wouldn't they? Most men chase, and most men can't handle a woman's distance. But when you don't act like most men, when you choose silence over chasing, it disrupts her expectations. She starts thinking, wait, why isn't he reacting? Why hasn't he tried to talk to me? Is he actually moving on? Those thoughts spark something deep inside her. It forces her to ask herself a question she never expected to ask. Did I misjudge him? That question alone creates a wave of emotions that most women aren't prepared for. It's the moment she realizes you're not like the others. And that's when the power shifts in your favor. 9. The moment she starts to feel your absence. Here's the part most men never get to see because they give up too early. At first, she feels fine. She might even feel relieved. She assumes you'll reach out soon. But then, silence. No texts, no calls, no engagement on her social media. Nothing. Days turn into weeks. She starts checking her phone more often. Still, nothing. And that's when it hits her. For the first time, she's the one feeling uncertain. She's the one wondering if she made a mistake. Because now, you're no longer chasing, and that changes everything. She starts comparing other men to you. She starts replaying memories in her head. She starts questioning her decision. And the more she tries to push past it, the more she realizes she's only making it worse for herself. 10. The unspoken rule of attraction. Here's the truth most men don't realize. A woman values you based on how difficult you are to replace. When you are always there, always available, she never had to think about losing you. But now, she's starting to feel your absence, and that feeling is unsettling. She starts wondering if she took you for granted. She starts questioning if she misjudged your worth. The best part? She doesn't even realize she's doing it. It happens naturally, subconsciously. Because when something is always available, it loses value. But when something disappears, it becomes a mystery. And mystery creates attraction. This is why silence is so powerful. It forces her to reevaluate your worth on her own terms. It makes her realize that you're not just another option. You're someone she might have lost for good. And that realization? That's what makes her come back.